the doctor in front of your name.
So dealing with that, your best friend who took her life, and also your father, I wonder, like, how did that impact you? Just witnessing so much.
It was
Yeah.
terrible. And see, even though I was 7 years old when my dad died, some people say, "Oh, well, it shouldn't have been that bad because you were young." But it had all these different. I had all these scenarios going on in my head. Like, did he do it because of me, or was he not happy with us anymore? Like, I have all these unanswered questions, and so I had buried that trauma for so long. So when my best friend did it the exact same way, it just started bringing all of those thoughts back up about my father. I hadn't really resolved it. I only went to counseling like in New York one time to finally deal with that. Because I forgot to mention that one time while I was in New York, like 2002 or something like that, I had uttered the words, maybe I should just kill myself. And my sister was like, you gotta go deal with your issues, and dad and whatever. But I only went for like 3 months. So now we're talking years later. You can't just go to therapy for 3 months and think you're okay. If you got all of that unresolved trauma and things that have happened in your family that was really difficult to process through, you got to do the work. But I just didn't understand it. And my sister was trying to tell me and support me. And I guess I just didn't hear it. So when my best friend did that, it kind of sent me into like a really dark depression. But I was still functioning, but I didn't let nobody know what was going on. Like, I was hurt inside, not wanting to get out of bed. That was a really tough year.
I feel like, a lot of Black women do that. When we're suffering, we just want to push through it. We're going to still work.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. And I remember like the night that I was going through my ideation, I tell people all the time, it wasn't that I wanted to die. I just wanted the pain to go away. And I literally, like, it was like I heard something inside of me saying, just kill yourself. And that scared me. And so I had counted up all these pills, and I was like, if I stay in this house, I don't trust myself. So I got out of the house, and my sister convinced me to call the Suicide Lifeline, which now you can dial 988, thank goodness, if you're in a crisis. And I called that Lifeline number, and they helped to kind of de-escalate the crisis. And then I also texted my pastor, and he was like, you got to get help. And so I called my primary healthcare physician, like, this was a Saturday, so I called my doctor Monday morning, and they put me in touch with a Black female psychiatrist. And that's when I got on antidepressants to try to, get myself back straight. And I didn't couple therapy. I just started with a psychiatrist at first and let the antidepressants kind of do the work. And then I really started, I immediately turned into an advocate. I was like, because that's just my type A personality. I was trying to turn my pain into something positive or something purposeful. And so I just started opening up and sharing with people. And it's interesting, like, I'm a member of Ebenezer Baptist Church here in Atlanta, Dr. King's former church. And they let me share my testimony in the pulpit that next year for May. So that was September. So fast forward to May, Mental Health Awareness Month. They had never talked about mental health in the church before.
That's so good that they allowed you to do that.
Mental health, division and, a group and everything. And I'm not just saying I did that, but I was, I don't think they ever really talked about it or dealt with it. And I was grateful to that. So when I saw that, like, me opening up and sharing my story was helping open doors and helping people in the Black community, I had to do more. My sister was like, you really want to be sharing all of this? And I said, I can't explain why I'm telling all my business about my mental health, but it's like God was just using me as a vessel, and I just let him. And then Dr. Chanda, like, all of these artists were hitting me like, yo, because you got to remember, this was pandemic. So we're talking 2016. They weren't talking about mental health at all. And so people were like hitting me on DM, and then, we formed a movement, and I made up May 5th being National Silence to Shame Day, and it just kind of snowballed. And so it was still, I know it was God using me as a vessel, because suicide is still really difficult to talk about. I know a lot of families who have had children to die by suicide, and they still won't talk about the cause of death.
Because of that stigma.
It still persists. And suicide especially, people think it's embarrassing for the family. It is. And I'm not taking that. It can be very embarrassing But I'm here to say, as embarrassing as you may think it is, it's nothing to be ashamed about, because your loved one was sick. You can still celebrate their memory, as painful as it is, and you can get past all of that. And that's why the work that you do, the work that we do at Silence to Shame, and all these other NAMI and all these other great organizations, like, it's support groups out there. It's so many resources that are available now. And I just don't want people to feel like suicide is an option.
The doctor in front of your name.